All right, boys and girls, let's do this again. Day 2. Now, if you're on campus, you're going to be doing a review for Monday's test. If you're at home, Thursday and Friday, you're going to get this assignment done. And so it just depends on what you're doing, if you're doing this Thursday or Friday. So let's do this day 2 of 1.5, and I don't know, let's pick a problem. Solve for y. 2x, 2y equals 5. So, gotta remember, it will tell you which variable to isolate. So then you're just doing the steps needed to get that variable by itself. You're doing your algebra, inverse operations, whatever's necessary at the time. So if I want to get this y isolated, I gotta get the x out of here. Now remember, you always take the sign in front of the number. So the negative belongs with the 2 here. That's a negative 2y. The 2x is the positive. So if I want to get this over to the other side of the equation, I need a minus 2x. 2x minus 2x, that's your zero pair. All right? The minus is with the 2y, so that whole thing stays here. Again, I want to write variables first for my equation. Now, I need to get y by itself. So I need to divide by negative 2, because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is going to give me that positive 1y. Everything over here gets divided by negative 2. Negative divided by negative is positive x minus 5 halves. There you go. Okay. Next, let's do another one of these bottom ones. So we did that the other day. Let's go look here. Solve for x. So I've got 2x plus kx equals m. Solve for x. Now again, in this case, I've got 2 x's. So I need to undistribute those x's. Pull them out. Get them out of there. Distribute the 2 x's. When I undistribute the x's, I have this. And again, we did this the other day. If I get x by itself, I can divide by anything. Well, this is x times 2 plus k. So I can just divide by 2 plus k. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. Hope you guys are writing this down at home, boys and girls. Okay, it's really hard to just keep all this stuff straight in your head. You should be writing it down and taking notes. So 2k divided by 2k, or 2 plus k divided by 2 plus k is 1. So I have just plain old 1x over here, m over 2 plus k, final answer. Okay, so that's when I just give you a literal equation. Let's talk some more about the word problem versions of this. So, if I just give you a formula, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, solve for h. So, 1/2 times base times height. If I want to get rid of the 1/2, I could divide by 1/2. That would do it. Or, a little bit smarter way to handle this 1/2 here. If I have this, if I multiply everything by 2, and of course whatever I do to one side, I do to the other, 1/2 times 2 is 1. So now I have 1, or just a plain BH on this side of the equation, and I have 2a. Then I don't have to get like an ugly divide by fraction situation. So whenever you have a fraction here, it's a lot easier to multiply by the reciprocal. I know you've heard that before. Multiply by the reciprocal. So I take the 1/2, I flip it to 2 over 1, and multiply by that on both sides of the equation. So now I am solving for h. Don't lose track of what you're solving for. So I divide by b, and I have 2a over b equals h. So, little trick there with the 1/2. Multiply by the reciprocal to clear out those fractions, and then whatever other steps you need to do. So, some common formulas that you need to be familiar with. These will pop up frequently, especially in this chapter, but in the future, a lot of these formulas will pop up. So it's important to know them. D equals RT. We've talked about that in some other word problems before. Distance equals rate times time. This one you may or may not have heard of. I stands for interest. This is if you have a loan or you have an investment. This is called simple interest. Now, in real life, it's more complicated, but simple interest. You have I stands for interest, P stands for principal. That's the initial amount. So if you have a $5,000 loan, you would put that for your principal. If you have an investment of $500, you would put that as your principal, okay? R is your interest rate, but you need the decimal form. So quickly, if I say 3% interest, remember you divide by 100 to get the decimal form for a rate, so that would be 0.03. If I would say 1.5%, that's 0.015. Divide by 100 to get that form that you need. And then T is time in years, okay? So again, a simple interest formula will pop up. And then this formula converts from, it starts in Fahrenheit and gives you a Celsius or centigrade answer, okay? So let's do one of these. Solve the temperature formula for F. So what was the temperature formula? 5/9 F minus 32. So C equals 5/9 F minus 32. So going back to what we talked about a second ago, I see that fraction here. The easiest way to deal with a fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal. I have 5/9, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 9/5. 5/9 times 9/5. If you want to go step by step, that's 45 over 45. That's 1. 1 in front of this just leaves me with F minus 32. Over here, I just write 9/5. See? Make sure your C's big. Don't write it in the denominator. You can put it in the numerator or you can put it off to the side. Don't put it in the bottom. Okay? So now to get F by itself, I simply add 32 to both sides of the equation. So I have 9/5 C plus 32 is your Fahrenheit temperature. So if you've ever heard somebody say something in Celsius, multiply by 9/5 and add 32 to it to get the Fahrenheit answer. Okay? Nice little thing to have in your head. Not the easiest math to do, but there you go. So again, a lot of these, the way you would normally do it, so let's take a look at something like this. The way you normally do it, it tells you right here your deposit. So the principal is 5,000, 6 months, so time is 0.5, because remember time is in years, 6 months is half a year, and earns, so the interest is 162.50, and it's asking you the rate. Okay, so that's what this problem is asking you to do. Now normally we would just plug it all in here and then just divide by and solve for R. What they want you to do in this, to practice this literal equation stuff, is if it's asking you to find the rate, do the steps first with the variables before you do the substitution. So if I'm getting R by itself, I divide by P and T. P divided by P, T divided by T. Now R is by itself. Over here, I have I over PT. Then plug in for your information. 162.50 is your interest. Your principal is 5,000. Time is 0.5. Go to your calculator. 162.50 divided by 5,000 times 0.5. 0.065. 6.5%. So that's what you're supposed to do in this chapter. Take the formulas, isolate the variable they tell you, then substitute the numbers, do the math, get the answer. There you go. Questions, comments, issues, let me know.